Hello everyone, my name is Aaron Standard. I'm the founder and CEO of Petabridge, and I'm also one of the founders of the Akka.net project. And what we're going to cover in this video is we're going to introduce Petabridge's live webinar trainings for Akka.net. So these courses are really for people who've already finished Akka.net Bootcamp and are now at the next stage of evaluating using Akka.net in production. So if you haven't done Bootcamp yet, you should go do that first before you consider doing any of our trainings. Now, if you have finished Bootcamp, you should know that our trainings cover everything that sort of comes after that in the project lifecycle using Akka.net. First thing we cover is Akka.net design patterns, where we essentially show you how to design systems from scratch using actors. And we also introduce things like the Akka.net test kit for unit testing actors, dependency injection plugins. And then we even get into Akka.persistence and how you can work with databases from within Akka.net actors. We also show you how to integrate inside ASP.NET. The next course that we have after you finish design patterns is doing Akka.net remoting. Akka.remote is the module that brings the network to Akka.net, and this is what allows you to start building distributed systems. And we cover all of the capabilities in there and also get into some details on best practices for how to use Akka.remote to build systems that are resilient to failure. And then the final course that we offer is Akka.cluster training. So if you've taken Akka.remote and design patterns, you're ready for Akka.cluster. Akka.cluster is the high availability sort of foundation for Akka.net for building systems that have to be up 100% of the time year over year. And we introduce a lot of architectural concepts in this training. So how to use the CAP theorem for designing distributed systems that can meet your availability requirements and so forth. And we teach you all those concepts in the training too, and how to use Akka.cluster to implement them. So the way Petabridge's Akka.net live webinar trainings work is they are, of course, delivered live via webinar, and they tend to last about 3 to 4 hours. They're led by an Akka.net contributor, so in this case, it's me. And I'm one of the people who co-created the framework, and I'm also the lead developer behind Akka.remote and Akka.cluster, so you're going to get your questions answered. And we tend to limit the class size to 10 or fewer attendees, and we do that in order to make sure that we can keep an open microphone going during the course of the training. Big part of the value behind how we do our trainings is that everyone gets to get their questions answered by someone who has a lot of production Akka.net experience and can address concerns that are specific to each attendee's use case. All right, so what are the benefits of taking these Akka.net courses from Petabridge? The first is that you get detailed, battle-tested Akka.net knowledge from people who helped write the framework and have used it in production. So you're going to get your questions answered, and this is stuff that you can get answered before you've even tried building anything with Akka.net, or maybe you're in the middle of implementation. The point is, taking this course will save you weeks or months of trial and error. So by spending 4 hours with us in an online training course, you're going to be cutting out months of time you'd spend learning all this stuff the hard way. And then the last point is, you get questions that are specific to your use case. So if you're not sure how to integrate Akka.net with some other legacy part of your system, or maybe you're not sure how to model some problem that's specific to what your company or product does, you can go ahead and ask those questions and know that someone who's been there before is going to be able to answer them. So those are the reasons why you should take this course. Once the course is over, you also get a recording of your training session so you can review anything that was covered. You also get all the slides and code samples used by the instructor. And most importantly, you also get a full-length ebook that covers all the presented material. And we include additional links and content in there that we may not have discussed directly during the course. But if at any given point in time you want to review all the concepts and techniques and specific methods of the Akka.net we covered, all that's available there to make sure that after you've done the training, you can go back and review the material afterwards. And the last reason why you should attend one of Petabridge's Akka.net live webinar trainings is that hundreds of developers already have, and the vast majority of them leave highly satisfied. 9 out of 10 would highly recommend our course to a friend or a colleague. And you can see some of the comments from some of our previous attendees below. To sum it all up, in 3 or 4 hours, Petabridge will help you eliminate weeks or months of trial and error, trying to figure out how to use Akka.net for your own purposes on your own. You'll get your questions answered by experts, you'll leave with a bunch of take-home materials that you can share with your team, and you'll get the confidence you need to use Akka.net in production. So if you're one of those developers who's looking at really using Akka.net, you should absolutely take our course. And you can click here to see a schedule of all of our upcoming training dates. Go ahead and sign up today.